Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm a little tired, but I'm happy.
Yeah, your Phillies
Yeah.
took care of the Braves.
Yes, they did. That was wonderful. So I only got like 5 hours of sleep after watching the Phillies win and then celebrate and all of that. But it was worth it.
Yeah, it was. I had an eventful week of Union exploits that we're going to be talking about today. If you are listening, this may or may not be episode 51. We haven't decided yet. We are trying possibly moving forward some bonus episode material. So we'll see.
This is like a variant.
Yes, this could be
offshoot.
like canon. Canon outside.
Not canon.
Yeah,
No.
outside canon. But anyway,
Yeah.
Today we have a very special guest. Two-time returning guest.
Yes.
Somebody that is a very good friend of ours and have done some traveling together. And he is the host of Maryland's number one Philadelphia Union podcast, Mr. Todd Lewis. Todd, how you doing today?
Doing great. It's great to be back on the podcast for a second time, like you said. So I think now I've tied Polemy. Am I correct in that? So
yes, you have.
I should have been the first to get to two, but we can save that discussion for another day. Kyle, you wanted to say something there. I can see for people that aren't watching this on YouTube, Kyle definitely moved his lips. He had some thoughts to say there for people that are only listening via audio.
No, I'm good.
Kyle said, he just sent me a text and said that I'm a better guest than Polemy. So don't let him lie to you guys.
I mean, I plead the fifth on that. Love you, Polemy. So recently, as of yesterday, Todd and I were at the Philadelphia Union Media Fantasy Camp. So on today's show, we are going to cover that, talk about some of our recent adventures down Subaru Park,
Yes.
and kind of just go from there. And this is going to be a fun episode. But before we get started, what are we wearing today?
All right. Well, I deviated off the usual wearing of Union stuff because I am in celebratory mode. Fighting's taken down the stinking Atlanta Braves. Attaboy Harper. I need to get one of those shirts, by the way. But I am wearing my Phillies. It actually is a Harper shirt. It has Harper on the back, but I got this at the Rally House recently. So I'm wearing my black Phillies shirt.
I'm wearing the Philadelphia Union Media Fantasy Camp 2023 jersey that I wore yesterday. And then on the back, it has my last name, Omni, and number 6, which is my lucky number. And
tell them why 6 is your number.
JT Snow. First baseman.
The second best JT there is.
For the first baseman for San Francisco Giants. So, long story short, I met him when I was a little kid when he played for the Albany Yankees, when he was in the Albany organization, when I was with the Harrisburg Senators, and never stopped following him. And that's kind of how I ended up being a Giants fan. So, Todd, what are you wearing?
Well, somebody told me I had to wear the same thing as Kyle. So I am also wearing my 2023 Philadelphia Union Media Fantasy Camp jersey. And for people that aren't paying attention, I'll go ahead and explain in a little bit more detail what Kyle and I are wearing. So it's a white and blue jersey with Union logo right in the middle of the chest, like some old school Philadelphia Union jerseys. And on the back of mine, it says Lewis and number 10. Wow. I almost took your number there, Kyle. So wow. I guess I'll go ahead and explain why I chose 10. I mean, I told Kyle this a little bit, that I really don't have any specific attachment to a number. I mean, I chose 10 because that's what I wore all throughout high school. And that's when I first started playing soccer. So I said, okay, well, that's going to be my soccer number because Wayne Rooney, Manchester United fan, wore that number. So I'm like, okay, I'll wear 10 because of Rooney. But other than that, I don't really have an attachment to the jersey, because I was telling Kyle, Thursday at the camp that I played baseball growing up, and I've had like the jersey number 2, 13, maybe a 16 in there. I mean, I've had so many different numbers. Like every year, they would always give me a different number. So I have no attachment where I was, oh, number 2 all the way growing up, and I'm going to stick with that. Nah, it was a different number every single year. And it was up until high school that I was like, all right, I'll take 10. It's available. Wayne Rooney, my favorite player. So yeah, I've had that ever since, and I've put that on most of my soccer jerseys. I was like, do I go back to 10? I thought about 6. I thought about 3. I've wore 3 in a couple soccer jerseys, but I'm like, yeah, I got to go with my first soccer number, and that was jersey number 10. I'm not a 10 at all. I saw my buddy Brad Frere was like, oh, we have our number 10. Or a true number 10. No, I did not play the 10 position in soccer. I did not play the 10 position yesterday. I played as a left back, a right back, center defensive mid was my favorite position. I played on both sides of the wing. So I played all over. Definitely not a 10 though. So that's what I'm wearing.
Nice. I hear you on that. I didn't really like, because I played field hockey for many years, and I only played soccer for like 2 years, but I never really had an attachment to like a single number, although 19 was always my lucky number. But I think I did 23 for a little bit because Michael Jordan. I did number 1 at one time, I think. And just because it was available, I don't know. So, but yeah, I think I might have been number 10 one year, but also Darren Dalton's number. He's my favorite Philly, so I always like that number.
I love Dutch.
Dutch was the best. He's my favorite Philly of all time. R.I.P.
Yeah, so before we get started, make sure to subscribe and follow, and please interact with us. We love hearing from you as always. We're on Twitter at TOTWAG. We are on Facebook and Instagram at The One Team We Agree On, and you can follow us on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts, as well as YouTube. So leave a comment, and leave and make a like if you like this video. Definitely interact with us. So, first topic for today's show, our good friend Conrad, who is also a good friend of yours, Todd. Big follower of a lot of Union social media and podcasts. During the Nashville game, invite us to the Tunnel Club.
Yeah, so we were hooked up with some Tunnel Club pass. That's the first time we'd been in there, other than like when we were on the stadium tour. So super awesome experience getting to visit that. So after we did the Sons of Ben tailgate, we went over, and before the game, we went in for a bit, and it was fun because the Phillies game was on at the time also. And you know, just getting to mingle with all the people in there. And we went in after the game as well.
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean, when you go there early on, before the game, basically they have free food and drinks.
Well, it's not, I mean, it's included in
it's included in your ticket. And we watched the players walk out before we headed to our seats. It was cool just seeing them warm up, you know, as they're standing in line. We saw
a few players coming, going. We saw Jesus Bueno come in, for instance, and, you know, like, said hi to him real quick. And
it was funny. Hani was coming out, and like everybody was, you know, really, you know, talking with him.
Like they're all friendly and everything.
Everybody was friendly. So that was a really cool experience. And then once everybody kind of walked out, we headed to our seats, and then we watched the game, which we
all know, you know, ended in a nothing draw. But you know, really good defense on the Union's part. Damian Lowe had a heck of a game. Andre didn't really have much work to do, but good defense on both sides. So
yeah,
not much to talk about the game itself, really.
Right, Todd?
Yeah, not a lot to talk about in that game, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I tried talking about that on my podcast, and actually talked about that game, I think, a lot longer than I thought I was going to, but yeah, nothing to say about that game whatsoever.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, we went back, and, you know, we were hanging out with some of our friends. We saw Conrad, obviously. We saw Grace.
Yeah, we saw the Slocum family.
Yep. And then we also, this was the cool part. We, a lot of players, after they got changed, came out and interacted. So you got to meet a whole bunch of players.
Yeah,
So,
I
have to
did.
share the
Yeah.
screen.
So yeah, some of them just come and hang out, and we'd heard that they do that. So that's cool. Now the day before we had the open practice for the season ticket members, and I had gotten pictures with like all the ones, Polemy and I were both there, and we were there with Jimmy, and we were there with Rob, like a bunch of our friends, and so that was cool. But then seeing him the next day was cool. So Damian Lowe, he came through, and that he was wearing I really liked his fit that he was wearing. He had this like kind of sparkly sweater on the outside, looked good. But I got a selfie here with Damian, player of the game for me. So that was cool, and I mean, obviously I've seen him before and gotten a picture with him before, but dang, he is tall in person. I mean, he's like, I'm short. I'm only like 5'3". Okay. So he's like bending down or something there, because he is way, way taller than me.
Yep.
A really nice guy. Really nice guy.
And then you got to meet Fafa.
Yeah. So I got a picture with Fafa. National players would come through, and of course, a lot of them were a lot of them, we didn't really hear, but yeah, Fafa, he was really nice, and he was posing with pictures with people. So we appreciate, his time with the Union. And so yeah, I got a picture with Fafa.
And
that girl behind you does not look amused.
No. And I wanted to ask you, Todd, what is your favorite Fafa Pico movement?
My favorite?
Yeah.
When he left the club.
Interesting. My favorite.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I mean, who's not going to say the playoff goal?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that was the first playoff game. Obviously it was first like home one for us, but like that was our first obviously playoff game that we'd been to with the Union, and it was quite memorable. And yeah, I mean, that was incredible. So
no, he was really nice. And got to talk to him, and he said he really enjoyed his time at the club. So that was cool to see him real excited, real interacting with the fans. That was a really cool experience. And then I got to meet
the legend Paulie Rushing. Yes.
Potential guests for future podcasts.
Yeah,
Todd, what do you say about that?
Episode 50 question mark?
Maybe, quite possibly, but no, just real humble guy, real down to earth. Was talking to him a little bit, just about, because obviously he's in physical training, as an athletic trainer. I'm more in the personal training, sports, but we both share sports science, working with athletes. So it was really cool to have that conversation with him. And just again, a humble guy, really awesome, and I hope somebody we can talk with in the future. Yeah,
really nice guy. And all right. So I'd heard that Julian, Grace Slocum had told me Julian would come hang out. So her daughter, Olivia, Olivia just loves Julian. Julian is her quote unquote boyfriend. But Julian came over and he was talking, and I got a picture of him there with Olivia. And so, I mean, Julian is so sweet with her. Julian's just the best. We love Julian. But Olivia, she's just always over the moon when Julian's there, and she like gave him a kiss on the cheek. She was so excited about him.
Yeah. And then we also were talking with Jack Elliott a little bit. And then Todd, we saw you and Jose and Skylar, all guys marching in to do player interviews. And how was the interview session with players?
Only one player talked, and that was Damian Lowe. That's it.
So it
tells you everything you need to know about the game. Yeah, just Damian Lowe.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then of course, Kai was hanging out back there with his family. I was talking to his wife Jenny briefly. So but yeah, and of course there was talk going on about, let's do a GoFundMe. We want Kai to stay and all that. So
there was a lot of discussion.
There was a
lot of discussion, a lot of Kai, please stay kind of from fans. It was quite interesting. But it was a fun time.
It was really cool to experience that. Like that was really cool. And again, shout out to Conrad for getting us back there. That was really fun.
So let's get to this, because Tom, I'm sure hopefully we're not boring you there with that. But let's talk about yesterday. First and foremost, went to open practice.
Yeah, you got to go.
Yeah, I was with doing the media access. We go for the last 15 minutes. Media members go all the time. That's where you see like Tanwald, those guys. I know a couple other people have gone, but went down to the new training facility. It was really nice. Surprisingly, and Todd, you and I discussed this, I was the only person there. Like I walk in, just one, there's like no marking. I'm expecting like some guy there, like, oh, you're with media, walk in. Nope, just walked right in. There was a trainer there working with Jacob Glesnes off to the side. Jacob's got a big smile on his face, and I'm like, I'm here to see for media. And they're like, oh yeah, go over here, real nice. And watched the training for the last 15 minutes. They were playing like a short field scrimmage when I got there, and it goes to the point, Todd, you know how Jim always says he sees great things in practice every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. I mean, the guy that stood out to me, and Union fans would be like, what? Was Joaquin Torres. I mean, he was playing with confidence, moving around like 1v1. I was like, wait, what is going on here? And even I was talking to somebody that was standing next to me, was like, yeah, he looked good. Now, how's this game translate? Obviously, we know how that is translating, but it was just really interesting to see just him play. And then they were doing some other drills and stuff towards the end of practice. It was a cool experience, but again, I thought there'd be more people there, especially with the media game going on.
Were there like a lot of the players? Obviously, some of them are on international duty.
I mean, the ones that weren't on international duty outside of Kai and Leon Flock were there.
You said you liked what you saw from Olatu Makanya.
I did. Now again, it's practice. So
right.
I mean, they were doing just crosses in, and him and Jack were heading balls in the net, and he put some really nice shots. Bendick was the goalkeeper, so take that for what you will. But I love Joe, but yeah, he was putting some nice strikes on net. So, and then we saw like the attack working. Baribo looked good, but yeah, it was a good experience. Got to it was really cool because the trainers would come around and like say hi, and some players like were like waving and all that. And the one thing I took away from that whole experience was the fact that you see the staff thanking the workers, the players thanking everybody, and it was a very family atmosphere.
Like you said, Mikel came over and shook your hand,
got like shook my hand. I'm just like, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, any interaction I've had with Mikel, like he's always been just class act,
but I think there is an opportunity for a lot of us that cover the Union. I know a lot of us, we live in Lancaster, Todd, you're in Maryland, I think this is a great opportunity to go there and see it, because I know for me personally, I want to get back there more, because it was an awesome experience. Obviously with our jobs, we all have jobs outside of just covering the Union, so it's very difficult. But I was really, really impressed with just, going in there, seeing it. And what you saw in practice, I mean, they were putting shots on net that I'm like, where is this in the game? So Jim's right. I mean, he sees amazing things in training every day, and at the end of the day, it's just for them to put from what's in training to put it onto the field. So it was a good experience. But Todd,
I just want to hit on something real quick.
Yeah.
I think this is like a credit to the Union. Every time that they sign these players, they always look for these personalities that fit into the culture that the club's created. So it's like, if you want a happy-go-lucky family atmosphere, then it starts with those little everyday interactions, like you said, Kyle, with saying, hey, how are you? Thanks for your hard work. Just little simple reminders that go such a long way. And, that's how you build the relationships that the club has built with their staffs, with the players, with the media, with the fans, and just those little words, those little interactions. It doesn't have to be a a minute-long conversation can just be like, "Hi, hello, how are you doing? Thanks for coming out." And that goes a long way. And so I think the union did a really good job creating those relationships with the media, with fans, with the players, with their staffs, like I said. And we'll see, if that continues with the type of players the union sign in the future. I think it will.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that maybe goes a little bit unnoticed, that they do a really good job just creating that atmosphere.
I agree totally. I mean, when I was down there on Friday, and it was perfect timing. I was off school on Friday, so I could go down and go to that open practice. And I'll tell you what, like as Jim came through and got pictures with people and signed things, and he was so he was thanking fans for coming, and just of course Jim's a real one.
Right.
And Ale and just all the players were very, very nice. And appreciative of the fans that came, and the interactions were great too. I mean, it was so funny, the guy and his son that were right next to me ended up being the son of my school secretary. Can you believe this?
Wow.
Yeah, my school secretary. She's friends with me on Facebook too, and she's like, so I was looking at your pictures and I saw that's my son and my grandson next to you, and I didn't even know. We didn't even know. That was so funny. But anyway, like the interactions were so cool. Like Jose Martinez was goofing off with my secretary's grandson there with the soccer ball he was signing. It was so cute, but just like I'm always impressed with the access we get to everything. And like I never I love my other teams and everything, but I don't get to experience stuff with the other Philly teams, for instance, like I do with the Union. So so I thought that whole thing was cool.
Yeah, it was. So let's get to the media fantasy camp.
Yeah, do tell, because some of us did not get to go.
Todd, what arriving there, going in, what was your overall experience starting out with the camp? Like, what were your takeaways from the time we went and checked in, obviously, but just being in that locker room, sitting down there, seeing that locker, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, so I got Joe Bendick's locker. Thanks, Joe. Shout out Joe Bendick for letting me borrow your locker for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I think my first takeaway was, this is so much different than on game day, right?
Yeah.
Because when we're in the locker room, Kyle, well, actually, we don't even get to go in the locker room. We get to go in, I don't even know what you would call that, like a little workout area. I don't know. It's just a little free space.
It's like kind of them prepping, like for the game,
Yeah,
probably
prep area.
stretching out.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys have done stadium tours and everything, they always take you through that section, so you guys will know what we're talking about. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you don't see the kids running around, you don't see the kids playing kickball, slide tackling, playing soccer against each other. So yeah, that was it's a little bit different, right?
It was.
They had a snack table out with what I think Cheez-Its, granola bars, maybe pretzels. Then they had like sodas, waters, and body armors out. And I'm like, why would anybody drink soda when you're about to play soccer? Like,
that was my whole thing
I
too.
don't know.
Like as a nutrition coach, I'm like, I was expecting like water, and just like you said, body armor, Gatorade, something like that, and maybe just some snacks. But then they had like candy too. I was like,
yeah, candy too.
Yeah, I was like, what? Okay. So,
but then when we get into the locker room, I mean, that was crazy because I'd never been in the locker room before. I don't know. I've never done a stadium tour either. Just because, I mean, all the areas that take people, I've been through them with media, I guess, other than the locker room. So I don't know if you guys have been in the locker room before or not. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, we've seen videos and everything with the film team when they do those videos and everything. Obviously, the cameras are in the locker room when Jim's giving his talks and everything. So you see little snippets of the locker room. But yeah, that was pretty cool. When you go into the bathrooms, it wasn't anything fancy, but they had their cold tubs and everything in there. So they were empty. And we all said after the game, we're like, can you guys put the water in here so we can get into the ice baths and yeah, relax these muscles? Did not do that. But yeah, I mean, it was a chill environment in there, having Jim Curtin come in there to speak with us, go over their scouting report that they put together for the Nashville game. Yeah, that was a really cool insight into the preparation that goes on during the week.
Yeah, I took a lot away from that. I don't know about you, Todd, but I was kind of like glued to that, especially when they start going into the data part. Yeah, how many was that? 15 to 20 sites they use,
Yeah,
and
Jim
you
Curtin put me on blast.
yeah, he was like, like, tell the story because this is kind of funny. I'm like over there dying. So for those of you who don't know, I had God's dog's locker. So thank you, Daniel. Got to share your locker for a day as well. And I'm just sitting there and he's like, oh, this is gonna be about what did he say? Go ahead. He was like something about like it's gonna be about
Yeah,
stats.
so after Jim got done doing the scouting report, he's like, does anybody have questions? Nobody wanted to ask a question. Jim's like, nobody, like, don't be scared. Like, somebody be brave, ask a question. So Matt Ralph asked a question, then he asked another one, then he asked another one. And then a couple other people were like, all right, well, now that the ice is broken, we'll ask questions. And I was like, do I ask a question? I was like, fine. I'll go ahead and ask a question. And I had my hand raised, and Erica, one of the PR people for the union. She's like, all right, we're in with Todd. And Jim's like, oh, let me guess. You're going to throw a stats question at me. He's like, I'm ready for it. And I was like, well, actually, Jim, it's funny that you mentioned that. It is going to have to do with analytics. You were just talking about the scouting report and everything. I said, I know you guys use Speedio and Opta. None of your listeners care at all what those two analytic softwares are. So I'm not going to bore them to death with what they are. Google them if you want to. And Jim, Dan Nolan, who is a player relations manager, I think. I'll look it up. And Jack Elliott, who else? One of their other Ryan Richter. They were all like, oh, like at least 15 to 20. And Jim's like, yeah, funny enough, we actually had a company come in here today and try to sell us on more software.
Which was like, they're like, yeah, they're big into golf. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting, but you see that sometimes with like somebody starts out in one brand and they try to branch out. So I found that interesting. Another thing I found interesting is like they broke it out like their pillars of the organization, their beliefs, all that kind of what they value. Did you find it interesting that Jim kept going back to the chart of most points in the league? Like he'd be like, yeah, but again, most points in the league, which to their credit, they have. I mean, it's a credit to their success. I just found it funny that they kept bringing that up.
Yeah, he's been beating that drum a while now, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of tiring. I'm not gonna lie. It's like
it is because he only gets to the point. It's like, yes, Jim, we know, but what are we doing in here and now? We don't care about.
Yeah, you guys have been consistent, but where's the trophies to show for it, right? I mean,
right. So anyway, we did get some swag. So Jillian,
swag that I'm gonna be stealing. So besides the shirt that you're wearing,
yes,
my last name's also Almany, so I'm gonna be stealing that.
You're gonna be like the seagulls on
what? Mine.
Yes.
Yes. As soon as you serve me all stuff, I'm like, oh, mine, because I will steal your stuff. Yes. So you got this jacket.
Yeah.
Really nice. I will steal that.
Which Todd has a funny story about.
Yeah. So, and for you guys that are just listening, it's the light blue with yellow trim on it and the Union logo. Nice little lightweight jacket. Very nice. It'll look great on me.
Hold on. So ahead, Todd, tell me what you were gonna do. You were gonna go ahead, tell like you were gonna.
I don't even know.
You said you were gonna get this, and now you got.
Last year, I wanted to get it last year. Yeah, now.
So now you have it. So,
I do.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see what else. So got this. Here we go. This warm up.
Yeah.
Top. It's long sleeved. The gray with well, as soon as you try it on, you're like, does it have the thing for your thumb to go through? And it does, which we love. We love that. So we got that. We got water bottle. Okay. We got a koozie. Okay. That'll be good for the tailgates. A little pennant. Yeah, I'll probably add that to my classroom stuff, probably. Got a clear bag
with candy,
and there's all kinds of candy in it too. So that's good because I have like 2 of the clear bags, but they're getting a little beat up. So that's good to have another one.
So
and you forgot one more thing.
Oh, and then yes. And
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so got the shorts too.
Jillian dropping the ball.
Well,
Wow.
I don't know, they were
and not
here.
any special shorts.
Oh, there they are.
No, these are the 2023 away kit shorts, and
Yeah.
they're authentic too, which I just found out today. So yeah, these are really legit.
Yeah, so
Nice.
Kyle, you can go full kit wanker and wear that with the away top.
I should. Why? Like for the playoffs, just show up full kit.
Yeah.
Gotta keep that lucky jersey streak going though.
Yeah, we did. Well, yeah.
No, Kyle don't let him lie to you. He told me on Thursday that he's not going to let you wear it during the playoffs because he has no confidence.
Nope.
But no, Kyle, I'm wearing lucky jersey.
Are you?
He said he doesn't want the streak to end.
Well, but then if I don't wear it,
talk about the confidence of this guy.
Then if I don't wear it and we lose, then he'd be like, "Oh, we lost because I didn't wear the jersey."
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, we all know we lost to Orlando at home because we weren't there.
Wow.
In our lucky jerseys. Well, I mean, maybe yours doesn't matter, Kyle. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And we weren't at the Miami game either. That with Messi and all that. So again, apologies for us losing because we were not there. But no. I will be wearing lucky jersey.
So after that, they took us out to the training fields, and I just want to share a couple slides here from some of our pictures from the day. So again, this is a locker that I had. Again, shout out to Daniel Gosdug. Yeah, kind of nice. And then here's Jim kind of giving his 3 pillars, build within, and system and
style play, continuity, yes,
cohesion, and then innovation, unconventional tactics, and programming initiatives. So basically they're pillars, and then kind of just him going over the charts. And Todd, what'd you think about this chart? Because I've seen this before, and where is this? This is Opta, right? I swear I've seen this on one of those Opta sites that pulled.
A lot of people create them themselves.
Okay. Now I was just curious because I swear I've seen those before. And then here's us walking out to the pitch.
Yeah, the fields look nice.
Let me turn this down.
Yeah,
there we go. So straight ahead, this is kind of just a lot of the practices. We saw a lot, Todd and I, because we were sitting there, saw a lot of like the academy kids talking and training. But way over to the right there where the construction is, when I went to the open time for media, that's where I saw like the Union play. They're playing off to the far right.
And these fields are turf, correct?
Correct. Which I don't know how you feeling today, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, I feel better now than I did probably this morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not the best, but not the greatest.
Well, you didn't tear your ACL or anything like
No,
that.
I didn't get injured. That was my goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of us got injured. So what were your overall thoughts of the complex? Obviously still getting done, but what'd you think?
Yeah, I'm really blown away with how much they've really completed here in a couple months. And before we know it, they're going to be putting up the indoor facility with the indoor field, with the basketball courts and everything. I mean, it's going to be super nice. And I was telling Kyle and Matt Ralph this, that I have a hard time envisioning no hotels going up in Chester near the stadium, because what it reminds me of is the Ripken experience in Aberdeen, Maryland, where they have the Aberdeen Ironbirds baseball stadium, which is the single A affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. They have 2 hotels there. And then they've been adding a whole bunch of Little League fields because throughout the summer and the fall, Little League teams come and play every single week. And so that's what this campus down in Chester reminds me of. You have obviously the Union Stadium. You have all these fields for your academy. The academy's moved down there now. You're going to have a stadium down there for Union too. It's just really hard for me to not envision hotels being down there, Because if you really want things going down in Chester every single day, every single week, you've got to have hotels down there. And I guess like the next big thing that you focus on is, all right, how can you make transportation better into Chester? And that's a whole different topic
Right.
for a different show. But for what we see right now with the stadiums going up, and look, we even saw Matt, Ralph, Kyle, and I think we're probably the last people to leave last night. We stayed
were.
around for like 2 hours after the event just talking. And what they've done with Rainy Street, what they're going to do with Rainy Street, I think is going to be fantastic. Where the Lammers, Kyle brought this up, like there's got to be restaurants there, like all throughout that row. I agree 100%. Like,
Yes.
Chester may not be Philadelphia,
Right.
but it has the potential. And I know maybe some people who are listening have been around since day one for the team. Like, oh, we've heard all these empty promises from the beginning, what they're going to do down the waterfront. They never did it. I feel like it could happen. And we saw just how busy it was, Kyle, right? We had
That's
the
what I was just about to say.
Army-Navy game that's happening today. Army was training on one of the grass fields. We had all the Union 2 players there. They were doing a scrimmage against the,
Ukrainian nationals.
Yeah, there we go. We had a couple of the other academy teams practicing down there. There's always going to be something going on in Chester. And then the Philadelphia Union Foundation were having an event at the stadium. I don't see how there can't be more going up in Chester near the stadium. And hopefully it does in the next 5-10 years, because I think Chester can be this really, really beautiful community. I think that, okay, it might have taken a lot longer than what the original plans called for, but I do ultimately think that it does happen. I think what the Union of building in Chester is fantastic. Is it perfect? No. Nothing's ever going to be perfect.
No.
And for people that think, oh, well, the team for them to succeed, they're going to outgrow Chester and they've got to go to Philadelphia. They find land in Philadelphia. It's not going to happen. When you bring down YSC to Chester, you move them into the wharf. Why would they move into the city when they brought everything down from King of Prussia and they're all going to be facilitated at the same location? Why would they do that? And you're spending millions and millions of dollars just trying to grow Chester, grow that area. And so it makes no sense for me. And so I think then we can continue to talk about, okay, well, are we going to expand the stadium? What kind of upgrades are they going to do to the stadium? I think we got to get done the projects with the fields, with the new U2 stadium that's going on, that whole complex right there. And then I think maybe we'll start hearing talks about stadium expansion, because I think I saw a tweet. The Union said that every single home game was sold out this season. So props to Union fans for that.
No, I agree with you, because that was a big thing. I mean, when I was standing there, I mean, we saw the amount of people just going in and out. It was a beautiful night. When we were sitting there on the plaza just chatting before we went over the parking lot. I mean, think about that whole, you're an academy kid. You get to train in that beautiful area, and then you put hotels up, you put more commerce up. I mean, there is like you said, the potential there is limitless in my opinion, with making this a very nice area for like parents that are going to go watch their kid play practice. They can go over, get some food, take home for lunch, if they build restaurants there. But then even game day experiences, and then the potential, there's the potential to increase seating in the stadium. You continue on this track. I mean, there's a potential there. I agree. Rainy Street is going to be awesome once it's all said and done. And hopefully this is a big economic boom, not only for that area, but for just like the city of Chester, make it, I'm not saying it's going to be a go-to destination, but what I'm saying is it's going to help this. It's going to help that community out. And, at the end of the day, it's going to be a really nice soccer destination by the World Cup. That's the hope, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, just creating jobs for people in the city, I think is going to be huge. And again, just going back to the points that we're bringing are points that were brought up when the team was announcing that they're going to Chester, and a lot of broken promises to
Mhm.
the citizens of Chester. But I really do believe that we're going to see a lot of jobs created. I think we're going to have hotels, restaurants down there. I think that
Mhm.
area is really going to be built up really nice. And I don't know how much property the union owned down there. I'm sure, they probably are in the process of trying to gain more. And I think if the union do announce that they've gained X amount of acres, then rumors will start popping up. Oh, well, the union will start adding this, that, this. I mean, look at all the parking lots the union added just
Mhm.
this past off season. So, I mean, they had to because of where they're putting all those fields now, because there is no more Lot B or Lot B VIP or the original
Mhm.
training facility. So the union had to add more parking, but I do have hope for the future of Chester, Pennsylvania.
I do as well. So let's get into the actual training session, which was led by Ryan Richter. And that was a fun experience. So they had us start out with dynamic warm up, kind of took us through some stretch and dynamic warm up. A lot of the stuff, Jillian, we do. And I kept mentioning this to Todd. We do this with our
Our swim
kids.
team kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our swim team kids. And then they did some drills, and then which Todd, tell the story. Ryan was real excited about our team of you, me, Greg, and I forget who the other guy was. I was talking to him, but
I'm glad
the
you got his name because I did not.
I didn't either, man. And I was talking to him, and I forget, and I feel bad now, but Ryan was getting excited there.
Yeah, it was, and shout out Ryan Richter.
Yeah,
Everything that I've said negative about him, what's his job? Found out what his job is now, right, Kyle? I
yeah,
mean, Jim Curtin spoke his praises. We didn't even talk about that. He said that he's the next coach in MLS. He believes the next
oh yeah,
great coach in MLS, and um, I know that's part of it's Jim's hyping up his guy, but it seems like Ryan does a lot with the club. And I mean,
yeah,
Jim was
Mhm.
praising him for his film sessions with the players, how the players feel comfortable with him. You said during practice that Ryan was leading warm ups.
yep,
Ryan, I think it's pretty clear, is Jim Curtin's number 2 man replacing
mm,
Pat Noonan.
he is.
And I mean, to expect him to be Pat Noonan, I think that's a little harsh. Where, look, Ryan was in the academy before he came an MLS coach, and to expect him to go and get an MLS job right away, head coaching job at least, I don't think that's going to happen. But Jim Curtin was really positive for him, and just him leading us through the drills and everything. He was a really good communicator, and it's funny. So you mentioned our group, Kyle. Ryan started us out in passing drills. So we were just passing to each person that were on a cone. Then you had to follow your pass. And then after that, then we ended. The last person who receives the ball has to shoot in a little quickie goal, a little small goal. And I heard Ryan Richter go to Jack Elliott. He's like, "Yeah, we can't do any advanced passing with this group." And I was
I
like,
know.
not to like us personally, but I think as a group as a whole, because Kyle, Greg, and I forget the guy's name. He was like, "This pink team, they're legit. They're gonna be a problem all day," because we had crushed the goal. I want to say maybe like 2 minutes of all of us just putting the ball in the back of the net. Like some really good passing between us, good first touches. Like Ryan
Yeah,
was getting into it. Like you can tell that it wasn't like fake BS. Like he was like, "There's actually a lot of good stuff going on with this group right here." Like they're not mishitting the passes. Their touches are
yeah,
good. Like they're moving the ball quickly. Like that was awesome. And we didn't even mention Jack Elliott like showed up,
yeah,
which they never even sent in the email that a player was
no.
going to stay and participate with us. So that was cool that Jack Elliott participated, was there watching us. But yeah, it was cool to get praised by Ryan Richter. Did nothing else the rest of our time there, but
No, we
passing.
didn't.
That's what I'm known for. So I'm glad that my passing came off strong.
No, and I think it's funny that you, me, and Greg during that drill did not miss a single ball in the net. Like we were all like that, and then Ryan's like, "Man, they keep hitting it. They keep hitting it." And he was like, he was getting into it. And you bring up a point about communication. He is a very good communicator. The other thing I really like is dude is all energy. Like he was just so amped up when he was talking. You just feel the passion. When I was at the practice session, he is all energy, all passion. So that's really cool to see. I think it's a really good yin and yang with him and Jim. So, I mean, I was kind of shocked, but also I understand where Jim's coming from, because after that training session, I have a new appreciation now for Ryan Richter as well. And I think you now understanding a little bit more about what he does. I think he's got a nice future. But how'd you feel after the scrimmages? That was fun. You're like that. You're shaking your head. I am too, man. I mean, there was a couple times I'm like, man, 20 years ago I would have hit that guy wide open with a dart of a pass.
Yeah, I was wide open on the left, and
Yeah,
you and Greg both. Yeah, you and Greg both couldn't get me. I was like, oh, dude,
I know you're wide open. I'm like trying to get to you. I like totally flubbed the pass, but you know, it was fun. It was fun, and then afterwards, Jim came out, like, kind of all gave us pounds, and Jack was there and chatting with us, and
what's funny? So, like, during that scrimmage, Jack Elliott was actually supposed to be on our team, and then I think Jack noticed that there's a lot of people playing in the scrimmage, so then he went to the sideline. But Jack's like, what position should I play? And Kevin Kincaid was also with Greg, Kyle, and I. And I was like, yeah, just go play center back with Kevin. Have that West Virginia partnership. He's like, okay. And then somebody's like, go play striker. I was like, yeah, didn't you play striker in West Virginia, Jack? He's like, yeah, maybe like a game or two. And then he's like, oh, yeah, you guys have a lot of people. And so then he went to the sideline. We should have told him to go play in goal. That's what we should have done.
We should have, because I think the other team had a goalkeeper, and we were like playing like no goalie. Like,
yeah, I know we played no goalie. Like Kevin was playing like a sweeper keeper.
Yeah,
like yeah, look at us, and we won that 3-1, I think, too. But yeah,
he had one from half field too.
Kevin
did he?
He was
Kevin
MVP.
Was good.
Yeah, go Kevin.
He was
2 goals.
MVP.
Greg had a goal too, right?
Yeah, Greg had a goal. Was that you that fed him the ball? I swear you did.
Nah. I barely got on the ball, dude. I did more tracking than I did passing.
I got on a little body to body with somebody, and I made that nice little run down the side and made a cut back. And made that cut back, and I see Greg cutting in, and like always in high school, when I go to cut back in, I just hit that ball a little too far, and then of course it got out of my reach. But it is what it is,
It was cool. It was a good time.
It was. And then we went and had food in the plaza, and that was really cool, because everybody was in there sharing stories, sharing thoughts, ideas. I know Paul was there talking from Views from the Bridge, was talking about mental health and soccer, and I thought that was really cool. A lot of good conversations there. So and with him and Sporting Serotonin. So I mean, it was a really cool time. So what were your overall thoughts of the event?
Yeah, just really thankful for the invite by the Philadelphia Union.
Yeah.
Just all the stuff that they gave us. I mean, we went over all the gear they gave us. They did not have to do that whatsoever. No. And just really appreciated of them for appreciating the work that we do, and just for the conversations that we struck up. I feel like the person at the happy hour that I talked to the most was Nico, also one of their PR people. Like, Nico is the best. Him and Erica, they do such a fantastic job. I mean, never had an issue with either one of them. Whenever I've asked for something, I've always been given it. And so, I mean, they're great to deal with, great human beings. Can't say enough great things about them. And just all the people that were out there, I mean, just super humble. Jim Curtin was like having a beer, just chatting with us during the happy hour. And then we saw him when he leaves. He parked his car out on the plaza. We're like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I guess he can park wherever he wants, right? He's the head coach. So.
Sure.
That was just such a great experience. And I think for people that were upset that didn't get invited last year, I feel it, because I felt the same way too last year. But just make it be known that you have interest. That's all Kyle and I did, and we got invited. And just super thankful to the Philadelphia Union. And for people out there that might think, oh, well, now you're going to be super biased and never say a negative thing about the Union ever again. No. Not going to be the case whatsoever. Which I don't think they expect that to be the case. They appreciate us showing up. especially like the away games, right, Kyle? Like we went together to Colorado. We went to New York Red Bulls this year. You didn't go to DC.
No,
I did.
Playoff time, you did go to DC, exactly. I might go out for a playoff game depending where it is. If it's in Cincinnati, I think I'll probably go out to Cincinnati this year. Atlanta, I don't think I'll go down to again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thinking about going away for a playoff game, I mean, as things stand right now, I mean, the only place if the Union made it to the final, if they were to travel, would be against St. Louis. So going to St. Louis for the final, brand new stadium, I feel like that would be pretty cool. But
that would be.
yeah, we'll see what happens. So I mean, it's cool that we all got to experience going to different away stadiums this season. Obviously going to all 50,000 home games this year. It's been a good season, but we all know that the season's not over yet.
No, and there's still a lot more to discuss, especially with this week, but that's for another time. And this was part 1 of 2 podcasts. Todd and I are going to do this. This is the first half. Depending on when it comes out, this could be part 2. But Todd, before we sign off, where can people find you?
Yeah, people can find me on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Free Kick Pod. My personal account, I feel like I never plug this. It's a Todd's Life on Twitter. It's a Todd's Life _ on Instagram. The Free Kick is where you can find the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube.com/freekickpod is the YouTube channel where I do goal breakdown videos. And like Kyle said, this is either going to be part 1 and part 2, depending on what order you guys listen to the video. So part 2 or 1 will be on the Free Kick podcast feed. So be sure you guys check out whichever one that's going to be part 1 or part 2. So you got to check out both of these videos or audio, whatever you guys listen to, for sure.
Definitely. So anyway, that's all for today's episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Yeah, we are looking forward to our official episode 50.
Yes.
Soon, hopefully with a very special guest. And we're working to line up some things there, so stay tuned for that.
I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah. So yes, fingers crossed that things work out. But if you don't already, make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment because we love hearing from you. And if you have any ideas on future episodes or guests, please send them our way.
And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you at the game.